So I don't want the preface to be like too long, but literally imagine this, because this literally happened last Friday. I'm chilling, you know, literally finished a work week. I'm playing video games. I'm on the cord, as the kids call it. And so while I'm on the cord, I'm talking with my friend Guy. And so just randomly, I just kind of have the urge, like, let me just rank the MCU Marvel movies just real quickly. But anyway, I'm making the list and, you know, everything seems fine. And then later on in the night, you know, more of my friends start to join the Discord and I still got my tier list pulled up. And you would think based on the way they were talking to me that I had stuff on my hard drive that I shouldn't have had. Like, it's to the point where I'm Piccolo and I'm taking off the armor. I'm Goku. I'm taking off the armor. Why am I having to fight all these people? The way this guy was talking to me, he literally told me I should give up my job and just start using my genuine opinions to engagement farm on Twitter. The way he was talking to me, you think I'd be living off of food stamps like I'm living in some hut. And so here are the takes that got me in a corner and had me fighting like Goku, if you will. Winter Soldier is low-key kind of odd. Now I will say, out of all of my opinions I'm gonna share in this video, this is probably the most like rage baiting. Just in terms of the phrasing. Winter Soldier is actually not a bad movie. It's a solid movie. That's why I put it in the B tier of the MCU. It's not an S and is not an A for many reasons. Let me first talk about this one thing that kind of gets to me just a tiny bit. But there's so many people who talk about Winter Soldier and they're talking about it like,
oh dude, it's so good. It's not even a superhero movie. It's more like an espionage movie.
What? Did we watch the same thing? Did we? Dude, there's helicarriers in the movie. The last fight scene is literally like a guy who has crazy wings that goes into the sky, and we're ignoring like the laws of physics for this. It's a superhero movie still. It is more of a spy movie than a lot of the other superhero films that we have, but it's still, at the end of the day, it's still a superhero movie, man. The only time I really hear a sentiment like that is like The Dark Knight, which, yeah, you can definitely argue that it's a crime thriller, and honestly, I kind of agree with that. The Dark Knight is a crime thriller movie that just so happens to have Batman, who is a superhero, and just so happens to have Joker, who's the arch nemesis and major villain.
Why do you want to kill me? You mind saying that one more time?
I think the reason why I consider The Dark Knight to break kind of the mold of superhero is because of how grounded that universe is. Because definitely not in Batman Begins, because then you got Scarecrow doing like whatever stupid shit he's doing, and then afterwards you have Bane, who is like literally like bro is punching like columns out just out of pure rage.
Make fun of me, but will they pick a fight with me? Nah. Fuck that. Who wants to pick a fight with a guy punching metal? For fun.
In the Dark Knight itself, like off the top of my head, there's like a couple major falls, you know, that Batman takes. There's a couple of feats that like you can see, that you can like watch it and you can be like, yeah, he probably would have died. They probably both would have died doing that. Outside of that, Batman's powers are pretty realistic. Once again, the gadgets, you do have to believe a little bit of there's one guy in a big corporation who's overseeing this, and all this technology is being developed behind everybody's backs, and Wayne Enterprises as a whole doesn't know, even though there's like a crazy like money fund that's being slushed into this like little armory that they don't know about. And in terms of the gadgets themselves, the only thing that's probably like too unrealistic by far is probably like the Batmobile. But even then, honestly, give it 20-30 years, the Batmobile is not that far off in terms of what we're already doing. I mean, we got to get over this like Waymo situation. But Captain America is like a completely different thing. He's got the super soldier serum, which I'll completely, you know, I won't judge too harshly because that's just the character. But like I said, you have the helicarriers, and then you have Falcon, and Falcon is like a pure superhero. You cannot put him in any other box because it's just not possible. It's just not feasible. And then outside of that, then you have to believe like the craziest, once again, it's a spy movie. I get it. You have to believe the craziest infiltration has ever happened in the history of everything ever, all at once. It doesn't scream to me at any point in the movie that I'm not watching anything that wouldn't just fall into a normal superhero movie. And it's not, and like I said, this is only a minor nitpick. Saying it's a superhero movie is not a bad thing. The original Sam Raimi films, those are superhero movies. And you know what? Dude, I will snap at anyone that would argue any differently that they're not absolutely amazing. The third one, I'll let you slide, but even then, the third one, let's be honest, Sandman kind of got aura, okay?
Tell him to bring out the lobster.
Which, speaking about aura, let's talk about Bucky Barnes, which is my main problem of the entire movie. Bucky as a whole. All this guy is, he's just an aura farmer. He doesn't actually have any, like, motivation. Editing Quinn here. I also want to say that the real, true villain of the movie is obviously Hydra. Bucky is just a pawn, an extension of that idea. The idea that nobody around Captain America is safe. But all these criticisms still extend to Hydra. As a villain, they're overall pretty bland. Like seriously, their entire plan is literally, let's just bomb people. Hulk would 100% take care of them. Okay, back to the video. He doesn't have any like real backstory to him. Like, the most you learn about him in the film is he's brainwashed and he's also Bucky Barnes. And once again, that was Steve Rogers' friend from, you know, the first movie, which I will allow, you know, in terms of context, because I'm pretty sure they even mention it at some point. But, you know, you can't retrospectively give him a backstory. So in Civil War, Bucky is an amazing character. Captain America and Bucky team up against Iron Man, and Iron Man having to watch Bucky kind of like murk his own parents that, you know, he's been grieving for like years. That's heat. That's fire. I have no problem with Bucky in Civil War, but you can't retroactively kind of give that backstory to him. Like, that's just, that you can't do that. You know, there's kind of like a line of like what you should already know and what the film has to stand on for its own merits. And at that portion, you're just cheating. That's cheating. As he stands in the movie, he is such a one-dimensional character. You know, on a complexity side, I've seen SpongeBob deep dives on Squidward tentacles that go like harder into like, this guy is like, he's gonna lose it one day. You know, he's the main villain of Bikini Bottom as a whole. A hidden episode of SpongeBob was actually real, and he just lost it. It's just far more compelling of a character, to be quite honest with you. And so once again, that leaves Bucky as just a one-note character, which can be okay at times. And once again, hey bro, and I was born 2003. Listen, I still got that. I still got that youngin' in me. You know, I'm still Gen Z. You know, I love aura. I love vibes. But like, even on that standpoint, you know, Bucky, you know, if I were to go back to a movie I mentioned earlier, like Sandman, that's low-key aura. You have just like a couple scenes of him like caring about his daughter, and just based off of like 2 scenes alone, that's all you need, man. That's all you need. Bring me back Sandman. And you know what? They did.
I'm not a bad person. Just had bad luck.
But I really do believe the first Avenger is a better movie than Winter Soldier, and even Civil War. Civil War is kind of on par. I'd probably say a little bit better than Winter Soldier, but once again, you can kind of cheat and say, oh, it's more like an Avengers team-up movie. You know.